Okay, so as many of you guys know, I'm currently on the tail end of a major house renovation. And when I say tail end, as you can see behind me, cabinetry's all done, the blinds, they were done yesterday. The painters and the builders, they are literally just going around doing those final finishing little touches. Like I reckon another 1, maybe 2 weeks, and they will be done. The end, so close. I can smell it. Oh, when I say the end, landscaping furniture, I haven't even really got stuck into those yet. Like they are a whole different conversation, a whole different ball game. Right now, they are future me's problem. Like I'm not worrying about that. I'm just focused on the fact that the build phase is so close. It's gonna happen. Anyway, for those of you that haven't kind of come on this journey with me, let me just quickly recap. Let me fill you in, give you the backstory. So I set the scene for today's video and also the next two videos that I want to do. So back in late 2021, Luke and I purchased this property here at Ashgrove with the intention of renovating it to create our, and I hate this term, forever home. But essentially we kind of wanted to bring our lives together because me, you guys know, I'm an absolute nut for character houses. Like give me a pre-1947 house and I go weak at the knees. Like I love them, love living in them, just love looking at them, love everything about them. Luke, yeah, not so much. Like we are polar opposites. He loves a modern house. He has always grown up in modern houses, and he used to look. I'm trying to train him here, but he used to look at a Queenslander and go, "Oh, like what's that? You got to go upstairs to get it." I remember that now. We went to a property at Newmarket, and he was like, "Stairs to get up into that?" No, and I was like, "That's essential to a Queenslander." What do you mean no? Like, oh, we are polar opposites here. Anyway, I get off track. Essentially, what we decided is I love the character old houses. He loves the new houses. Let's buy an old character house, aka what he refers to as death house. So let's buy a death house. Let's renovate it and make it feel fresh and bring our two desires or our likes together. So that's what we decided to do. So like I said, back in 2021 we purchased. Early 22 we settled. We started the design process then. That went for, I don't know, can't remember now, maybe 6 months, 9 months, whatever it is. Got to the end of that design process and we were like, love it, like chef's kiss, beautiful, let's make this happen. I was going to say, talk about the money side of things, but I'll get to that later. So essentially, let's make it happen. Went out to get the builder pricing. Builder pricing came back and we're like, yeah, no. I still remember today. I was driving down the SQ freeway across, what is it, Captain Cook Bridge or whatever. I was driving across, builder calls me, goes, so were you expecting blah price? And I was like, no, like, no, that is not going to happen. So we went back to the drawing board, sat down with a design professional, and went, okay, we gotta get some cost efficiencies here. Like we gotta bring it back. So we started shaving. Okay, let's just chop off the rear half of the house. Do like it was drastic the things we had to look at. Went through that process, and keep in mind this is that post-COVID kind of process or phase. Went through that process, and during the 3 months it took to kind of refine things, scrape things, begrudgingly give up things, the price it went like that. So at the end of the 3 months, we were literally back where we started from a financial perspective, and I was just like, oh, this is not fun. Now I understand what clients go through. So yeah, at that point we've got two options here. The first option is we just bite the bullet, we dive in, hope like crazy, both of our businesses do well, we can make some extra money, we can make this thing work. The other option is we just go cut our losses, sell the property, find something that's already done, and just go down that path. Obviously, spoiler alert, we decided to take the first pathway, and thankfully for both of us, our businesses have worked out. We've had the extra cash and the ability to see it through. And I can sit here now and go, yep, hindsight, good decision. Could have gone the other way, but hindsight right now, great decision. So anyway, one of the biggest things, whenever people say to me, what have you learned through this process? I've learned so much, so much to benefit my business. Like best freaking learning curve I could have ever gone on in the last couple of years in particular, but this whole journey just overall. Now, I had grand plans way back at the beginning of doing an Instagram page and kind of keeping this blog update going so I could keep everyone informed and share the information and the lessons that I learned along the way. I secured the Instagram page. I think I called it something like Ando's third chapter. And it was third chapter because we're the third owners of this house. So I was like, oh, that's sweet. That's cute, isn't it? Yes, anyway, I was going to go through that whole process and it just didn't happen. So many reasons it didn't happen. The main one being business went crazy. Obviously, I had to prioritize that. And so personal stuff each week, you're like, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. I'll catch up 6 months in. I'll catch up on 6 months worth of stuff. It'll be fine. It didn't happen. So now that I'm on the tail end, I'm like, no, we need to take a moment. I need to recap everything I've learned through this whole journey. So my intention is to do 3 separate videos. In today's video, I'm going to give you the lessons that I've learned as a town planner. So the 5 biggest things that have shaped, altered, changed, use whatever word you want there, the way I operate my business and the way I engage with clients going forward. Second video, we're going to cover kind of that start of the process to construction phase. So the 5, I think I've come up with 5 for each. We'll see how this goes. But my biggest takeaways from that pre-construction phase. And then in the final video, we're going to go construction phase and the lessons that I've learned there. My hope is that if I share this information with you guys out there, you too will question, rethink, reconsider how you potentially do things. So how you operate your businesses, how you engage with clients, all of that sort of stuff. I'm not going to sit here for 1 second and say, I know it all, my shit don't stink, like I'm the best town planner around. By far, everyone has, one of my favorite sayings, where do I even start with this whole thing? Well, one of my favorite sayings is you're either green and growing or ripe and rotting. Those that hang around me a lot will be like, she says that all the time. Yeah, I do, because I love that saying. So yeah, you're either green and growing or ripe and rotting. I strongly believe I always want to be green and growing. I never want to sit here and go, I know it all. So I don't want you guys to think I'm putting myself on this pedestal and going, oh, I'm going to tell you how to operate your businesses, because that is not it at all. I'm just hoping that the lessons that I've learned can spark ideas, improvements, different ways of thinking, let's just say, going forward. So with that said, let's start with lesson number 1. Okay, so possibly the biggest lesson that I've learned through this process is that the design is not finalised at the DA stage or the town planning approval stage. See, I used to live in a bit of a naive little bubble. I used to sit there and think, once you got the town planning approval through, the design, it was locked down and nothing was going to change after that point. Yeah, that was a little silly Billy now, wasn't it? I still remember the day I had the conversation with my design professional. I was like, study windows over there, how are they going to open? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I haven't detailed that design yet. I haven't worked that out. And I'm like, what do you mean you haven't worked it out? We got the town planning approval. You can't change anything now, can you? What the heck? Yeah, okay. Having gone through that detailed design process, having gone through the construction process, lived the reality of it, I now realize through both of those stages, there is a lot of little twists and turns and bends and modifications that occur. The aim is just not to make them big enough that they trigger a modification application. So how has this changed the way I operate as a town planner? Well, essentially, I now try to actively find ways within reason to build flexibility into our plans. So when we're looking at plans, let's just say it's for raising a house and all this extra stuff. Provided that you're not right at that height limit or you're not dealing with critical floor levels for flood limits and all of that sort of stuff, what I like to do is when it comes to the RLs and things, put a little note there that says levels are approximate only for town planning purposes. So that way it gives you a little bit of flexibility on site when, like happened with me, the house raisers turn up and they realize, oh, we got to go an itty bitty, a little bit higher. Like we're talking itty bitty, but higher to get the steel in underneath, all of that sort of stuff. It's not an issue. You've got that breathing room there. You're not suddenly triggering the modification application. Or, and we see, thankfully it didn't happen to me, but I see this on jobs all the time. Clients get to the construction phase and they find that that material they were hoping to use, it's either not available or there's lead time of like 50 weeks or something crazy, or the price is 10 times what it was when they first started the quoting process. If you've got a note on your plans that says blah, blah material or similar, gives you that little bit of flexibility to swap things out if they are similar. You can't go changing timber weatherboards, horizontal boards for bricks and all of that sort of stuff. There's a little bit of breathing room to do a little bit of substitution there. So yeah, because I've gone through the process, because I've now realized how much bending and twisting there is along the way, I now actively try to make sure that our proposal plans that we lodge with council, where within reason, have a little bit of flexibility and breathing room there to account for the inevitable changes that occur. Number 2 is that this whole house renovation journey is an emotional roller coaster. And those legislative curveballs, they hurt. They really, really hurt. Oh, so in my case, it was like 3 or 6 months into the design journey, and I ran the plans past Mick the certifier, and he was like, yeah, so that pool in your backyard? Yeah, that ain't going to happen because you've got a sewer line, a manhole, like it'll cost a fortune to move that sort of infrastructure. Yeah, you just got to ditch that pool. And I was like, I didn't want that pool, but now that you say I can't have the pool, I want the pool. I mean, I don't like the idea of maintaining a pool. I don't really swim much, but I was going to be the cool auntie, and my nephews, they were going to swim in that pool. Like, I want the pool. Give me the pool. Why can't I have the pool? I really wanted the pool at that point in time. Or the other most recent one, I came home the other day. I was a little bit blunt in my delivery, but I texted the builder, Tom, and I was like, Tom, the handrail fugly. Why the fugly handrail? I can't have that fugly handrail in my house. Like, get rid of the fugly handrail. Why the handrail so fugly? Turns out the handrail is fugly because certification rules say that it's got to be a certain distance off the wall so you can get your hand in to hold on it. Safety and all that BS. Yeah, I used to like legislation because my business relies on legislation. In this situation, I did not like legislation. I did not like certification legislation in particular. Oh, but yeah, long story short, I used to think that I was an empathetic, or used to hope that I was an empathetic or a sympathetic person when it came to the way I operated my business and all of that sort of stuff, understanding clients and their needs. I am next level empathetic and sympathetic to clients these days. I now understand that I need to be a lot softer in my delivery of the rules. So I can't just sit here and go, oh, no, you can't do that. Council won't support that. Or, oh, by the way, council just wants you to rip this roof off and change it to this. Because I now understand how much thought, emotion, all of those things goes into the process to get you to that point. And often that one little thing, there is so many flow-on consequences. So yeah, as a town planner, I am a lot more empathetic to clients going forward. Number 3, no news is not good news. So I learned very early on in the process that everyone along the way, right from the very beginning to the very end, is absolutely stretched at the moment. Like, everyone's overloaded, overworked. As a result, it is inevitable, it's natural, it's going to happen. People accidentally fall off the radar, or you get deprioritized behind someone who is playing that squeaky sort of role. So as a homeowner, you learn over time that, hold on a sec, there's a chance that they're going to miss. And then you start to go, wait, they're going to miss me? Have they forgotten me? Should I check in? Should I not check in? Like, should I be the squeak wheel? Should I just leave it be? Oh, I don't want to be annoying. You waste so much time and energy in that space, second guessing everything, wondering, do you check in? Do you not check in? And inevitably, if you don't check in, you do find, oops, they forgot you. We're back to square one. So Kim and I sat down and I was like, this is not a fun place to sit as a homeowner. How do we try and take away some of that pressure or that stress for our clients? So we've implemented what we call the no news updates. So we now have these regular check-ins, usually it's every 2 weeks, where we just touch base with clients and go, hey, just a heads up, we haven't forgotten you. Everything's progressing as exactly as we expected. You are still moving towards this next milestone. So it helps people just go, hopefully, I hope it does at least, helps people go, they haven't forgotten me. I'm still on the path. I'm still tracking as planned. I don't need to worry about the time frames. Number 4, character schmaracter. Now, this is another one of those moments where I was kind of living in a bit of a naive bubble. I naively thought that when these houses went through the renovation process, when the pre-1947 house was renovated, it kind of came through somewhat untouched. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand when it comes to renovating houses, you're typically demolishing the lower level, raising to 9.5, extending out the back. Like, there is a lot of change that goes on. But when it comes to the original core of the house, if that was shown as being retained, I thought that's exactly what happened. It'd come through the other side untouched. Yeah, I now understand the practical and, more important, financial implications of that. There is so many moments throughout my renovation process where the builder came to me and went, you do realise that if we stick to these plans and do what you want us to do, it's going to cost a lot of extra money. Like, looking at the external cladding at the moment. When we first got this house, it had lovely plastic cladding on the outside. We'd done our patch test to pull it off, see what was underneath. It looked good, but we knew when that plastic cladding came off, we could uncover an absolute mess. Thankfully for us, it wasn't an absolute mess. It was just a little bit of a mess. And yeah, the builder went for me to sand those back, to basically put the nail holes, but pre-drill nail holes, re-nail, all that sort of stuff. It's going to be an extra $40,000. I was like, I'm very fortunate. My business, like I said before, it's grown a little bit. I got a little bit of cash to spare, but far out. Yeah, if I wasn't a town planner and if I wasn't being accountable, like if I didn't need to be held to account here, if I wasn't being scrutinised quite as much, those weatherboards I'm looking at right now, they might have been a Gonski. I'm going to admit it. And that was just one point in the journey. There were so many other moments where the builder came to me and went, yeah, okay, so we've uncovered this wall now. It's not what we thought. Do you want to rip it out or do you want to repair it? And I'm like, I want to repair it. But tell me how much and I'll make a decision. Far out. Yeah. So I now have appreciation or understanding of the financial pressures and realities of trying to retain this sort of stuff. So when it comes to going through the town planning process, I now have more honest and frank conversations with clients, and I strongly encourage them always to get the builder involved early to practically review the house, work out that external cladding. Is that really going to stay, or are you going to push to actually remove it down the track? Because if you're going to push to remove it down the track, if there's going to be a massive financial implication to retaining it, we need to have that conversation now. We need to show that on the proposal plans. let's not wait till later and deal with it down the track, because it's not a fun conversation to have during construction. So yeah, another lesson learned. Number 5, lucky last, is that I am my most annoying client. Now, I'm not going to tell you why I was annoying, because I don't want anyone getting all self-conscious out there and thinking that I'm personally attacking them. But I found myself doing so many things and acting in so many ways during this process, which if I was on the other side of the fence, I'd be like, oh, red flag, we are running. I do not want you as a client. So now I sit back and go, okay, put myself in their shoes. I know why they're acting that way. I know why they're doing that or they're saying that. I have a newfound appreciation for why they are acting that way, and therefore I am a lot more sympathetic, softer, less quick to judge, let's just say. So there you go, 5 of the biggest lessons that I've learned throughout my own house renovation journey, which have helped to kind of shape the way that I act as a town planner and how I run my business. Like I said, next week we're going to cover off 5 lessons that I've learned from the homeowner's perspective for the pre-construction phase. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.